Have you ever tried so hard to make everyone happy that you slowly forgot what happiness even felt like? It's a quiet kind of exhaustion, the kind that doesn't come from hard work, but from saying yes when your heart is whispering no. If you've ever felt that way, listen closely. This is Mery's story, and it might just remind you to protect your peace. Before we begin, remember, if stories like this touch your heart, follow for more timeless tales that help you grow and heal. In a peaceful valley surrounded by gentle hills, there lived a young woman named Mery. She was known by everyone in her village, not because she was rich or powerful, but because she never refused anyone. If an old neighbor needed help carrying water, Mery was there. If a friend wanted to talk all night about their worries, Mery listened. If someone asked her to work extra hours, she agreed without question. Her days were filled with other people's needs. Her nights were filled with quiet tears she never showed. She told herself, "I just want everyone to be happy." But deep inside, she felt something slowly fading: her joy, her rest, her sense of self. One evening, as the sun melted behind the hills, Mery's mother looked at her and said softly, "My daughter, you look so tired these days. What's troubling you?" Mery smiled faintly. "Nothing, Mother. I'm just busy helping everyone." Her mother placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Helping is beautiful," she said, "but even a candle that burns for others must rest before it melts away." Mery nodded, but didn't truly understand. The next morning, she continued saying yes to everyone, for everything. One day, a great festival was announced in the village. Everyone was preparing, decorating, cooking, singing. Mery was asked to help with the flowers, the music, the food, and the cleaning. She agreed to all of it. By the time the festival began, she was exhausted. Her hands trembled, her eyes were heavy, yet she smiled for everyone. During the celebration, as she served food to the guests, a little girl tugged on her dress and asked, "Miss Mery, don't you ever get tired?" Mery knelt down and smiled gently. "No, little one. I'm happy to help." But as she stood up again, her legs weakened. The noise of the crowd faded into a hum. Her vision blurred, and she fainted to the ground. When she awoke, she was lying in a small hut at the edge of the forest. An old woman sat beside her, a healer from the nearby hills. Her hair was silver, her eyes kind and calm. "You've been asleep for a long time," the old woman said softly. "You've carried more than your strength allows." Mery tried to sit up. "I didn't want to disappoint anyone," she whispered. "I just wanted to be good," the old woman smiled sadly. "My dear, do you think the river asks permission to flow? Or the wind asks every tree if it may pass? They move as they are meant to, not to please, but to exist." She handed Mery a small wooden bowl of water and said, "Tomorrow morning, walk to the lake at the foot of the hill. You will see your answer there." The next day, Mery followed the old woman's words. She walked slowly to the lake, her body still weak, her mind full of questions. When she arrived, the water was still as glass. She bent down and looked at her reflection. For the first time, she noticed the dark circles under her eyes, the tired lines across her face. She whispered, "Why do I feel so empty when I give so much?" A soft breeze rippled the surface, and something caught her eye: a small bird flying over the lake. It dipped its beak into the water for a drink, then soared back toward the trees. Mery watched quietly. The bird didn't stay to fill the lake. It took what it needed, then flew away freely. And in that moment, she understood. She had been trying to fill every cup around her, while letting her own run dry. She had mistaken kindness for self-erasure, love for approval. She had forgotten that to give light, one must keep the flame alive. Tears filled her eyes, but this time they felt light, like rain washing away the dust. When Mery returned to the village, she was different. She still helped others, but no longer at the cost of herself. When people asked for her time, she smiled and said gently, "I'll help when I can, but I also need to rest." And surprisingly, the world didn't collapse. Some were confused, some even offended. But over time, they began to respect her boundaries. And those who truly loved her stayed. Mery began to paint again, something she hadn't done in years. She walked through the fields at sunrise, feeling peace where guilt used to be. Her heart, once heavy with obligation, now beat softly with freedom. Years later, people still came to her for advice. She was no longer known as the girl who helps everyone, but as the woman who taught others how to honor themselves. One evening, a young villager asked her, "Mery, how did you learn to say no without feeling guilty?" She smiled and said, "When I realized that saying no to others was sometimes saying yes to my soul." The sun dipped low behind her, painting the sky in amber light. The same hills that once felt like walls now felt like open arms. She closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and whispered to the wind, "To live truthfully is the kindest gift we can give to ourselves and to others." If this story touched you, remember, you don't have to please everyone to be loved. Your peace matters too. Stay well and stay peaceful.